Lerone Murphy coming in at minus 145 against Josh Culibao, sitting at plus 115. Over under 2.5 rounds, minus 200 for the over, plus 165 for the under. The undefeated, but with a draw, Lerone Murphy coming back. He made his somewhat of a return back in March and got a win. It was a close fight against Gabriel Santos. Josh Culibao was on the Perth card against Melsik Bagdasaryan, who we saw last week, and he was getting busted up until he finally found the back and got the rear naked chokes thrown in there. But 11-1-1 for him. So his only loss is to Jalen Turner. This is going to be a good fight too. Like, this is a really solid fight in the featherweight division. Lerone Murphy undefeated. He's had a good couple wins. I mean, was it Douglas Silva de Andrade?
Yeah.
Ricardo Ramos, and a draw to Zubi to Hugov. And then the knockout to Makwan back in 2021. Comes back in 2023, as I said, and beat Gabriel Santos by split. Maybe some home cooking on that one. But Culibao is a very solid striker as well. And getting the submission win in his last time out just shows the improvements going for him. So who are you thinking in this one? Pretty close fight as well.
Yeah, I think it is a close fight. And, man, I was thinking today, Lerone Murphy takes the fight against Gabriel Santos on the last London card, and Santos gives him all that he wanted. I mean, that was a super close fight. I think people could argue that Gabriel Santos even won the fight, scoring 5 takedowns, and, striking numbers were in Lerone Murphy's favor by 20 strikes or so, but still super close fight. And then Gabriel Santos goes out there and gets knocked dead by David Onama. So it just makes you wonder, how good is Lerone Murphy? Because he's not really, outside of Douglas Silva de Andrade and Ricardo Ramos. You look at some of his regional scene wins, he wasn't really fighting many crazy good opponents. The Amir Khani win, knockout. I mean, Amir Khani's just not the best fighter in the world, not even with the UFC anymore, I do believe. And then has the draw with Zubaira Tukhugov. But Culibao beats Melsik Bagdasaryan. Super impressive the way he did it. Jumped on the neck the minute Melsik dropped to the ground with that slip. And on the feet, he wasn't getting outclassed by any means. He was probably losing, but Melsik just showed in the fight a few days ago how extremely slick and how good he is with his kickboxing. And Culibao was able to hang with him a little bit. So if he can hang with Melsik in that regards, I think he hangs with Lerone Murphy. Culibao, he just seems like he's got that attitude where he wants to scrap with these dudes. And I think he could give Lerone Murphy his first O here. I mean, Culibao has beaten, decent opponents, doesn't have the highest strength schedule either, loses to Jalen Turner. But outside of that, man, he hasn't really shown too many flaws in his game wherever the fight goes. So it's another one of those fights. I think the line should be a tad closer, maybe closer to pick him. And if it should be that close, maybe you got to lean the dog here. I'm going to take him, though. Even though Lerone Murphy's going to be in front of that home crowd, we saw it in the last fight, man. He kind of looked like a deer in headlights at times when he realized this kid, Gabriel Santos, was giving him the fight that, basically one of the closer fights he's had. So, yeah, give me Josh Culibao here.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it somewhat the same way as far as it's kind of a 50-50 again, and by default you got to go with dog, but I don't like to go against the Englishmen on these London cards, but at the same time I'm like, Culibao is a dog. He was getting busted up by Melsik and blood all over his face, but still able to keep his composure and get the submission win. He's gonna be in a tough environment here going into London. And last time he was in Australia, so that kind of favored him a little bit. But either way, I see this fight being a fight on the feet. I don't think either guy's going to shoot because neither guy are like Santos was the guy initiating all the grappling exchanges against Lerone Murphy. Culibao, not too keen on the grappling. He's just a guy that wants to stand and scrap. He's got pretty solid takedown defense as well. So if Lerone does try to take it to the ground, Culibao is pretty keen to it. So it's probably going to be a 3-round fight on the feet. Culibao, he doesn't have the greatest volume, but neither does Lerone Murphy. But in his last fight, he had some pretty solid volume, landed 93. Home cooking again, I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy, unfortunately, for Josh Culibao, because I like the guy. The guy's a dog. But, yeah, I just think Lerone probably going to be a little bit more active. And yeah, I'm going to take him home cooking.